think you out there in the audience want justice for Charlie, I can assure you that the people that are in this building, the people who are closest to Charlie, want it more. And you need to believe me when I say that. And that goes for Erika, that goes for Tyler, that goes for the whole team.
Amen.
And I can certainly say that that is the truth for myself. And just because you don't hear us speaking into a particular issue or an aspect of the case does not mean that we are not running 100 miles an hour in that direction to get the truth and to get justice. Yeah. And we have a team that is coordinating with law enforcement, both federal and state and local officials. And yes, we think we got the guy, that they got the guy. And it doesn't mean we don't have open questions. Who else knew about it? You know, when did they know about it?
Right.
And was there financing? Were people getting radicalized by certain groups or ideologies? We want to know all of that.
Sure.
And we're not going to rest until we get that. But just because you don't see us speaking into something, you know, doesn't mean we don't care. It doesn't mean that we're not working on those things actively. And you know, me in my role with Turning Point, I have to be aware of the fact that things I say in public could negatively impact an ongoing investigation. People don't like that answer. You know, I think most people appreciate that answer, but there's some people that don't. But that is the truth, and we have to sort of respect the process, let it play out.
Yes.
And then in the meantime, Dan, we have stuff that we can work on, and that is making sure that Charlie's legacy, it grows, expands.
And that is what Turning Point is doing. So, guys, we have a jam-packed filled episode for today. And I'm going to try to get a second one in, so bear with me. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you to everybody who is watching right off the bat. I want to thank everybody. I really do. Everybody who's been with me from the beginning. And I mean from the beginning in 2021 when I was making videos about the Great Cough, about to get, you know, totally, like, I have my channel wiped out. Guys are still there. I'm up to 13,000 subscribers. At some point in my life, you know, 2 years ago, I said that I actually want to do this full time. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there, and your support is what's helping me get there. So I want to thank literally everybody who's watching. And again, like I say, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you to every eye that lands on these videos. Okay, so today, you know, we have a lot of Erika. We got a lot of TPUSA. TPUSA does not understand how to connect to the audience. Now, to their audience, to serve their people. You know, I have to be careful when I say this, because in your face, a person will say, like, no, come on. They're doing things. They're saying it's in Charlie's name. It's in Charlie's name. I don't understand what's going on. It just feels so plastic and manufactured. Andrew's message here, of course, you know, it makes sense what he's saying. It does make sense. But it's just that people know that a year from now, we're probably going to be in the same position with questions. And people will be watching the court case. And I just, with all the fumbles and everything, I mean, really, I think a public defender really could win this case. I'm just keeping it real, because there's just it's not beyond a reasonable doubt. And I don't know who they're going to, you know, corral in to be the jury. I just don't know who are they going to get, because this is a nationwide thing, and people have already been tainted. Everybody, even, not to say tainted, even people who don't watch, who never cared about Charlie Kirk. And of course, after what happened to him, sadly, are now paying attention. And even they are like, this feels weird. It feels weird. So I don't know who they're going to get to be in that jury. I just simply don't know. But we're going to get into it. And by the way, today was Charlie Kirk's birthday. We'll talk about that. So for some reason today, Andrew Colvett thought that for Charlie Kirk's birthday, they should do a show at, like, here we go. The Charlie Kirk Show will be live from the historic cash room at the U.S. Treasury Department. We'll be joined by Secretary Scott Bessent to discuss rooting out Antifa's funding network and getting Gen Z to believe again in the American dream. Okay, people don't like Scott Bessent. He is what people would call a marshmallow IHOP asset, if you will. And I mean, almost drag, not quite, but then throw I hop under the bus. So this is, again, I'm getting this from Mr. Lego. So that's what he's talking about. You know how you might, and this is Ian Carroll saying to Andrew, you know how you might get Gen Z to believe in the American dream again? Charlie figured it out right before he was ended. Yeah, pretty awkward in here. Yeah, and I mean, people are kind of like, F off. You got Jesus with the money, flipping tables over the, the usury. So it's not, I mean, of course, this girl, Savannah Hernandez, she's like their TPUSA thought. But anyway, looking sharp, boys. But for the most part, people, look, a cool story, bro, F you. And I mean, this is what's happening to TPUSA is losing the people, they're losing the connection to the people. People may not see it yet, but I'm telling you, they are. A lot of people are tired. They don't like what's going on. They don't like it. And this right here is not what Charlie Kirk would have. I'm sorry. Damn, how y'all let me be the one to tell you what Charlie Kirk would have liked? I don't know him, but I just feel like he would not like the way this looks. Like, all right, we're going to do my birthday show in a money room in a time like this where people are like complaining about the economy. Obviously, he would want to say, Trump is doing great with the economy and stuff like that, but he still wouldn't do this. I don't care about people being rich. I think people should just be rich. I think, aspire to make your money, do your thing or whatever. So this doesn't bother me the same way it bothers Gen Z, who is being robbed of the American dream. Now, I'm sure I went way longer than I expected to, so we're going to go straight into Erika Kirk. Shadow of Ezra captions, Charlie Kirk's wife, Erika Kirk, broke down in tears moments before receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom awarded posthumously to Charlie Kirk by President Trump. And he's being sarcastic.
And freedom.
Not a breakdown. Like, there's not a breakdown, but like, I'm not going to give her this hard time the way y'all are doing. So, no, and then it makes it look like I'm laughing at her crying. So here. No, I'm not going to do the disclaimer. If people can't understand what I'm not the one who wrote the caption, okay? All right.
Identity and inspire a renewed spirit of religious devotion. He was one of the great debaters and communicators of his time. Despite receiving repeated threats, he remained undeterred and modeled courage, logic, humor, and grace to the next generation. On September 10th, 2025, at age 31, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while addressing a group of students. The United States honors him as a martyr for truth and freedom.
I just feel like somebody can make a movie about this. Like, I really do. Look, when it comes to the dabbing of the eyes, I understand where that comes from. It really should be waterproof mascara. It really should be. They've been doing that for decades now, right? Drop a comment below, girls, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so her makeup is absolutely flawless. Like, I'm sorry, I like her look. I'm always saying how much I like her look. I do like her look, with the braid coming to the front. It's very rustic kind of look, with the nice extensions, the kind of like summer waves, His dress is absolutely gorgeous. And then the makeup is flawless. I mean, she's got the dark mascara with the gold in the inside. And then, like a touch of color on the lips, not too much, She has really nice eyes. So this works out beautifully. So, the dabbing is still, though, because you don't want to smear it. Even if it is waterproof, like, you don't want to smear it, right? So I get that. I do. She kind of dabbed her nose. I get it. She's not going to break down. I'm not going to do this thing where I expect Erika Kirk to break down like, oh, Jesus, like, again, like I said, it is absolutely insane for anybody to expect this. Of course, she would show up to her husband's posthumous award for the Medal of Freedom, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, and She should show up. I mean, who else is going to pick up the thing? She can't stay home for that. That's just ridiculous. And again, she's not going to break down so they can carry her off the stage. It would be too much. It would feel too uncomfortable. She has to maintain composure in this way. And I do think that she did a good job as far as maintaining composure.
What she would like to say to Daddy. And before I close, I'll share with you that I asked our daughter what she would like to say to. She said, "Happy birthday, Daddy. I want to give you a stuffed animal. I want you to eat a cupcake with ice cream, and I want you to go have a birthday surprise. I love you," that's what she said. And while our son is precious, he can't yet speak, in classic Kirk family fashion, his actions spoke louder than his words, and his gift to you, Charlie, and myself for that matter, was deciding to become the man of the house and be fully potty trained at 16 months. But Charlie, baby, I know that you're celebrating in heaven today, but gosh, I miss you.
Anyway, I'm not going to say anything about the message. You know what? Hey, it's a good mess. You know, whatever. So I'm going to be wrong if I say I don't think that the little girl said all that. But, you know, it's just, I mean, it's a shame. It really is. Honestly, it's a shame. It is a shame. But what's more of a shame to me, and I think I'll have more here, and I mean, the pictures, yeah, this is the most powerful photo on X. Erika Kirk is fierce. She does look fierce. You know, she does look fierce. And
honestly, President Trump, I have spent 7.5 years trying to find the perfect birthday gift for Charlie. And it's so difficult. And those of you that have spouses or loved ones, you know how difficult it is sometimes to buy a gift for someone that you love, because he wasn't a materialistic man, so that also did not help. But now I can say with confidence, Mr. President, that you have given him the best birthday gift he could ever have.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, so this was kind of the messaging. And then they went, you know, they were talking about how much she wanted people to vote and everything. Oh, there is another really deeper message that she gave. And I'm going to discuss it in my next video. It is about the Sabbath. And it's going to sound weird coming out my mouth what I'm going to say, because I am a Saturday worshiper. But these people are taking this thing. They're doing something else with it. And we have to stay vigilant, guys. We have to stay vigilant. Candace is on break. So I don't have Candace for today, but you know, this is the messaging. You know, we miss Charlie and stuff like that. I think in the next video I'll explain exactly how I feel about what's going on and my assessment of where Turning Point is going from here. I also saw this headline about that there was paramedics on site, but they were told not to render aid to Charlie by the security staff. Allegedly. I'll show you that headline later. So we'll get to that a little later. But this is basically what we saw today. It just feels so, I don't know, it feels superficial. Maybe not necessarily just her, just the whole operation. It just feels superficial. But, you know, we talk about it in the name of the Lord. Again, thank you everybody for coming through, and I will see you guys at the next one. Bye.